Top 10 Crazy Realities of Hotel Life During the Coronavirus Pandemic. I work at a worth lodging in a piece of the world that serves the art, the Creation Museum, the Cincinnati Reds, and other occasion spaces in the zone. The district has been developing, inns have been jumping up like insane, and numerous local people consider the to-be business as an extraordinary spot for vacation mobility. Then the coronavirus happened. Now everything has changed. For certain lodgings, business has dropped 2%, best case scenario, of what they were doing, and things look amazingly horrid. Regardless of the stoppage, it has likewise been unfathomably disordered. Everything is frightening and erratic every day. Here are 10 real factors of life in the lodging business during the coronavirus pandemic. 10 unusual hotels around the world. Number 1. The future is uncertain. No one knows if or when things will be normal again due to the coronavirus pandemic. Inn proprietors and representatives are apprehensive about the fate of inns. Numerous proprietors are persuaded that this monetary year will be a finished wash. Hitting break-even is the new objective, on the off chance that they can even oversee it. To exacerbate the situation, nobody is certain how awful this will be for the inn business in the long haul. Truly, a few lodgings and inns will consistently exist since individuals need a spot to remain. In any case, others oblige visitors who are visiting resorts and other attractions. After the finish of the pandemic, we may see a long-haul change in how individuals collaborate at occasions, in huge groups, and with different gatherings. The internet is such an amazing asset, that we may see increasingly virtual diversion come out of this. Conceivably, just little gatherings will be permitted to assemble, even in resort. Regardless of whether the law permits, things may never return to ordinary if general mentalities change. This could be really ruinous for the retreat inn industry, as around % of their business would be for all time gone. Just like each circumstance, including the pandemic, we can just give a valiant effort as we hold on to perceive what will occur. The world may not change that much in the long haul. In any case, it's difficult to anticipate now, and the vulnerability can be terrifying. Number 2. Guests are much chattier because everyone wants to talk about the pandemic. You will get some loquacious visitors at an inn, however a great many people simply need to do their business and jump on their way. Notwithstanding, the pandemic has changed all that. Clients and representatives the same consistently sympathize about the virus. In actuality, customary visitors who were never glib are presently talking significantly more. This infection has terrified a large number of us. By talking about what's happening, we have that human association that can comfort a few people and cause them to feel better. Contingent upon the individual lodging representative, this can be either purifying or distressing. Some like the opportunity to discuss the pandemic. Others are as of now hearing enough about it on the news and busy working. These representatives simply wish they could disregard the infection for a couple minutes. Unfortunately, when you work in client care, it is an aspect of your responsibilities to visit individuals up and be thoughtful, regardless of whether you wish you could simply request that they please quit discussing the pandemic. You are as of now worried enough over it. Number 3. Business is almost impossible to predict even day to day, as expressed in the presentation. I work at a worth lodging. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, I could work the morning shift and foresee what number of visitors we would have before the day's over, plus or minus 5 people. That is genuine in any event, for lodgings with heaps of strolling visitors. Even on days when we weren't doing that well or when it was a moderate season, business was normally unsurprising every day. When you know the progression of your business, you build up a sense for how things will go. Be that as it may, this pandemic has made a huge difference. Because of scratch-offs, the criminal component, individuals going at last to return to their places of cause, vagrants, and numerous different variables, the inn business has gotten difficult to foresee every day or even hour to hour. The esteemed inn where I work has around 115 rooms. At the present time, we are occupying around rooms every night. It is practically difficult to foresee inhabitants or which days will be better or more regrettable. Number 4. Some hotel workers have made themselves paranoid wrecks over the virus like anybody on the cutting edges. Some lodging laborers have made themselves suspicious wrecks over getting the infection. Before at long last stopping, one of my colleagues was wearing another pair of gloves after each client and wearing a veil when the CDC was all the while saying it wasn't important, in spite of the fact that we know better at this point. She was likewise terrifying the visitors, who were worried about the possibility that she was wearing a cover since she had the coronavirus. Despite the fact that you need to be mindful so as to abstain from getting the infection, it is additionally essential to put together your activities with respect to good judgment and not simply distrustfulness. Wearing gloves can help, yet you additionally need to wash your hands after you take them off. You can't contact whatever's conceivably contaminated and afterward contact your face, but the gloves are useless. They can without much of a stretch give you a misguided feeling that all is well and good. Furthermore, your distrustfulness can worry you and lower your insusceptible framework. In spite of the fact that lodging laborers clean continually, wash our hands like insane, and take a ton of insurances, there is a point where your strategies to sterilize become constant frenzy wiping that just dries out your skin with no extra medical advantages. Number 5. When prices go down, many criminals come to stay, as we've referenced, and costs have created. Accordingly, street pharmacists, stores, and other ne'er-do-wells see these absolute bottom costs as an incredible chance to utilize ends as the base of tasks for their organizations. Numerous addicts who need a spot to crash during a high are likewise enticed by the low prices. If this wasn't sufficient, numerous urban communities are presently paying to set up vagrants in inns during the pandemic. They should remain inside, which is the general purpose. Be that as it may, a significant number of these individuals are not self-isolating. Rather, they are falling into difficulty. The issue stretches out past lodging the destitute. They, despite everything, need cash for nourishment, and some are attempting to score drugs. Others simply have side hustles. They need to set aside cash with the goal that they won't be destitute forever. Although it is incredible to give the destitute a spot to isolate, they essentially don't have the assets to simply remain inside lodgings for quite a long time. They absolutely don't have the interruptions accessible to them that a large portion of us have, aside from TZ in their rooms. To exacerbate the situation, numerous vagrants have psychological instabilities. Simply giving them homes without giving the assist they would requiring may uncover or even reason bigger issues. Number 6. People are trying to get rock bottom prices when hotels are already struggling. Many individuals realize that movement has been suspended in many spots, that individuals aren't gathering, that a great deal of getaway goals are shut, and that most inns are doing inconceivably seriously at the present time. Truth be told, they may keep on performing ineffectively for the remainder of the year. However, similar to everything business, a lodging isn't a foundation and visitors don't consider their business a cause either. With all the individuals coming up short on cash at this moment, the individuals who do require an inn are searching at absolute bottom costs. This makes room deals super competitive. As of now, a few inns are offering such low serious rates that they hazard losing cash on their rooms since they are not getting enough income to cover all the overhead. Some inn proprietors accept that having a more full house will look better to their creditors. At the day's end, however, any inn that is selling outright currently is scarcely equaling the initial investment and may even be working at a little misfortune. 10 hotels that offer ridiculously over-the-top extras. Number 7. Breakfast services are suspended or greatly limited at most hotels as the COVID-19 flare-up spiked altogether. One of the primary things to change was the means by which nourishment was served. To follow stay-at-home or safe house setup orders, cafes shut their inside lounge areas. So you need to utilize conveyance, curbside pickup, or drive-through in light of the fact that social affairs of in excess of a couple of individuals are presently banned. This left a ton of inns in an odd hazy area. They don't know whether they are appropriately agreeing to the law or not. Most states didn't utter a word explicit about lodging morning meals somehow, albeit a few states were muddled about whether a morning meal buffet was worthy. Thus, some lodging supervisors thought about whether mainland morning meals were still alright as long as just a couple of visitors accumulated without a moment's delay. In the meantime, a few foundations have closed down these feasting choices completely, regardless of whether they don't serve any hot nourishments. It hasn't helped that the specialists have not given a lot of direction or explanation on the issue. Out of a wealth of alert, most lodgings have suspended their morning meals or are offering to-go packs. In the event that you have to visit an inn for business or something, you should call them first to check whether they, despite everything, have any sort of breakfast alternatives. That way, you'll know whether you have to prepare for the following morning. Number 8. Phones have been ringing off the hook with cancellation calls once the quantity of COVID-19 cases raised forcefully. Social occasions began to be restricted and inns more than once got the most noticeably awful sort of calls and doings. For the initial a little while of the COVID-19 episode, the telephones were ringing free at my inn. That was likewise valid at numerous other establishments. Everyone was getting dropping calls for remains that ran from just a couple of days ahead of time to those in pre-fall. Inhabitants dropped like a stone for the time being. The chiefs and proprietors of numerous lodgings are presently startled that, best case scenario, they will earn back the original investment for the year. In any case, that is the ruddy case and far-fetched to occur. Many hotel employees are slightly traumatized at this point. Some have reached a point of weary resignation, knowing that most remaining calls will still be cancellations. We're all just hoping that our hotels don't have to close permanently and that we don't have to look for new jobs. There is also the worry of having your hours cut. Although the US Congress passed a stimulus package to help with unemployment benefits during the coronavirus pandemic, it can still be difficult to apply for and receive the money in a timely manner. What do you do while you're waiting? Very few places are hiring, especially part-time workers. Number 9. Some hotels are offering special home at least one inn up until now. Red Roof Inn is offering a weekday exceptional from 8 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. to utilize their lodgings as a home office space. This offer is very modest, running at somewhat under $30 every day for your brief office space. They even permit one other individual and one pet. Now this is half of most daily rates for the kind of inn, yet they're likely not offering full comforts. Probably, they don't anticipate that the visitor should utilize the bed or the shower. No morning meal either. The office rates for daytime stays. Be that as it may, this is still very reasonable. The individuals who are scanning for home office space should investigate this at different inns that may before long offer comparable arrangements. To escape from everything and have your own workspace for $30 daily is genuinely modest, particularly if the children are home because of isolate and you can't focus sufficiently long to complete your work. Number 10. Hotels are essential, but layoffs and hour cuts are still happening in the insane age of the coronavirus. Things have been regarded fundamental. In any case, that doesn't guarantee going great for inn organizations and their representatives. Albeit numerous fundamental administrations have seen a spike sought after, lodgings haven't took an interest in the flood as the travel industry is at a stop everywhere throughout the world. Many inns would prefer not to manage increments in joblessness protection. So they're attempting first to cut the hours of their representatives before laying individuals off. Notwithstanding, greater inns are frequently faring so ineffectively, because of a whole world destroying misfortune in inhabitants, that they must choose the option to lay off workers. If your foundations close to Disney World are furloughing individuals left and right on the grounds that the end of the recreation center has left some remains at just 1% inhabitants. At that rate, they can barely bear to keep the lights on, significantly less keep on paying all their employees. As for Las Vegas, many retreat inns have closed down in light of the fact that a gigantic measure of their cash originates from the gambling club business. This requires bigger social occasions of individuals to be effective. More than anything, they are fundamentally gaming spaces with an inn connected. Without gaming resorts, there is no reason for remaining open.